All right, live on YouTube, live on Rumble. Open us up.
How do I open this up?
Hey, welcome to I'm Okay, You're Okay.
Okay.
You know?
Yes, welcome to I'm Okay, You're Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a once a month show.
Yeah.
We do it the first Sunday of every month.
Yep.
And it's just on topics. We may agree or disagree, but whatever we do at the end of it,
I'm okay, and you're
okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you say you're okay, I'm okay, but you're also okay. You know, that's the whole point. Only one person can say it, unfortunately.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's an unfortunate thing. But anyway, let's getting into the topic here. While I'm trying to find, there we go. The first thing we got is lunch break really your time? What about on company property while wearing a uniform? You know, and to back that up, we had an article here. From 1912, 15 young women were fired by Curtis Publishing in Philadelphia for dancing the turkey trot during their lunch break. So, you know, even though it was on their lunch break and all that stuff,
Right.
like, now, we have a lot of people these days, while wearing uniform, recording themselves doing stupid stuff on the TikTok and all that crap. And, you know, they've been getting fired, and in my opinion, rightfully so, and such. But we have like another thing here that it says 83 American League President Lee McPhail suspended Yankees owner George Steinbrenner for 1 week for his public criticism of umpires. Now, now that's overstepping the bounds because like that's infringing on you know his freedom of expression, his freedom of thought, freedom of speech, and everything. And I understand. Like, you know, there's images to be concerned about and all that stuff, but to me, there's very few things worse than doing disciplinary actions on people for simply stating their opinion. Well, you know, now unless the opinion is absolutely crazy, like anything, you know, Nazi or anything like that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I disagree 100% because of this situation. Because you are speaking and representing the Yankees, New York Yankees organization.
Yes.
And you have no right to jeopardize the value of that organization in any way, shape, or form. You do not have freedom of speech. This is a private organization, and they are completely within their rights of reprimanding him and doing whatever what they do to him.
They suspended him for 1 week.
Yeah, actually, that's a pretty minimum deal because
that is
because you just can't jeopardize, in this case, your sport. You are signed to that contract, and you can in no way make derogatory comments about the league.
Well, it just says public criticism of umpires, so maybe like he was going on about like.
Well, enough to get him a week suspension.
Yeah.
I don't know what he said, but that's the call of the owners, and if they felt it was way over the line, they have the right to suspend him. And they could have done worse. They could have fined him on top of it or whatever.
So, like, you know, where would we draw the line of what's workers, you know, rights are, like what they can and can't say, what they can and can't do, and all that stuff? Like, where do we draw the line where it's going from, securing the image to just abusing powers and everything? Like, you know, like,
is it justifying circumstances? Are you?
Well, I want to go back to like, you know, this
the first one, yes.
Yeah, this for women on their lunch break dancing the turkey trot.
Okay,
you know,
first off,
like,
the argument is they're on their time.
Yes.
You know, they are not being paid.
Yes.
Now, where they go horribly wrong is they're in a corporate uniform. You're still representing the company.
True.
Now, I don't know what the turkey trot is. Doesn't matter. But if
we don't know.
Corporate,
we don't know if they had a uniform or not.
Well, that's what it says.
No, it just says
wearing uniform.
No, that's
while
what
wearing uniform.
No, that's what I said.
It says right here, while wearing uniform.
That's my question.
Oh.
The actual article is 1912. 15 young women are fired by Curtis Publishing in Philadelphia for dancing the turkey trot during their lunch break.
Okay.
That's the article. Now I added the uniform thing because
okay.
I also
After
brought
this
up more
news.
modern day thinking because we're going over many different eras of situations for this topic of discussion. But today, there's people out there wearing their Grubhub shirt or wearing their Home Goods apron or whatever the hat their badge at Chili's or whatever it is that and they record themselves not just on property in the kitchen or whatever when they're opening, closing or whatever it is that they do, but also if you're a UPS delivery driver, you're wearing the brown uniform. You're out there, and if you're on your break or whatever they're recording themselves, putting themselves on TikTok wearing all that uniform and all that stuff. Now that's more of a modern thing. Now that goes under the classification of what you're saying. That's their image and all that stuff.
Right.
But I want to go back to this article here, the 1912 one, where all we know is they were dancing the turkey trot on their lunch break. I think that's over the line.
Well, we don't have enough information. Let's get rid of the uniform thing.
Yeah.
That's irrelevant at this point.
Yeah.
Kind of take this to a different step.
Yeah.
First off, have they ever been warned that they can't do it?
True.
Are they on a lunch break, which is their time?
Yeah.
But do they rotate lunch breaks and other people are working, so therefore the turkey trot is disrupting other workers?
True.
So we don't have enough, but what you're looking at just right there on the surface sounds like it's not enough to fire somebody.
Yeah.
But, what are other there are plenty of things that you did the turkey trot after being warned or stop disrupting the others, and you keep doing it, boom, you're gone. Okay. But, other than that, it's kind of a quick fire, if you ask me.
Yeah. Now let's move on up a subject here. Age limit in politics. There should be a ceiling. If you're X age. Well, we kind of spoke a little bit about this earlier, last episode.
We've done this once before.
Well, not specifically talking about in politics, but we spoke about this a little bit with driving and all that stuff in the last episode.
Yeah.
And I'd like to wrap up this subject with covering the politics side and all that stuff. We have these geriatrics like Glitch McConnell, and Brandon.
Yeah.
Trump is up there in age. Whatever you think out there, I don't care. I'm not a supporter of him personally, but whatever. But Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, and there's just so many old people, not just in our government, but a lot of governments around the world and everything. We've covered articles in History Show that all the way back in the 70s, there was this guy who was 89 years old who got elected or something in freaking Bangladesh or wherever the hell it was. I don't know. But and I'm only mainly speaking about for the U.S. and everything, but I was using all those others as examples. Should there be a cutoff age for politics? Or at least some kind of test to make sure that they're cognitive of sound of mind and body, so we don't get anything like Brandon or Mitch McConnell or any of that crap ever again.
Yeah. Well, this gets tricky. And let's just take an example. Should there be on the surveys you say, hey, have a cognitive, everything's solved. No, it's not, because it's politics. If you're requiring one candidate to take a cognitive test and not the other, you're already diminishing the guys that's required for the test value. Well, no matter how he scores, he had to take a cognitive test. Oh no! So you can't. If you do
why
one
not have
for
them
one,
both?
then you have to do everybody.
Okay.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Whatever level, if it's presidency, if it's senators, if it's House of Representatives.
Well,
from
something needs to be done.
State, then you have to do one for all. You can't check it out. And the problem is exactly what we've had in the last two presidents.
And not
President
just the
Biden had some problems.
Yeah.
I'm not. and he's had surgery.
And it's not just the
stuff like that.
presidency, like Mitch McConnell,
Yeah.
people in the House,
and
people
then,
in the
and
Senate.
then what level do you go
you know?
down to? So yeah, exactly right.
Like, do we have any geriatric
But you can't
justices?
pick one over another just because of age. It can't be done. That's
Well,
just
something
not
needs
right.
to happen, because we can't keep having these Mitch
Don't
McConnells.
vote for him. Look at what someone's doing.
Well,
talking.
we can't rely on voting anymore because, it's the majority of people out there. Let's just be honest, they're stupid, and they have just as much a right to vote as you do, So they essentially every stupid person out there cancels out every smart person, and there's a lot more dumb people than there are smart, So
Well, the only thing I can say is on a national election, which is only the president, that's the only national election we have,
yeah,
president, vice president,
yeah.
I would be adamantly opposed to it, but if it had to be done, then it has to be done with everybody, every 4 years, who's ever in the race, not, parties decide for themselves in the primaries, but when you are now running for president, then everybody has to do it.
But then
Every 4 years, just not this time, but every 4 years.
But see, in adding this, we also now add another problem in trying to take, we haven't even taken away the problem for sure. We're just adding another problem because it's just another thing that either side or both can use against each other.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
I'm against it. I say no. You have to run on your own.
well, I don't know what to do because, once again, the Brandon thing, Mitch McConnell, what's her face from San Francisco, the really old lady with the sunken in eyes and everything. These people, they need to retire. They need to get out and bring in fresh minds. That's not.
She is retiring this year, right?
Thank God. But for their health, not just because I disagree with them, but dude, go out and live the last years of your life in happiness. Get out of this. Stop fucking the entire world. Put somebody in there who can actually do your job a little bit better. Even if I disagree with them, I want them to be, clear. How many times, I know I keep bringing up this poor guy, but Mitch McConnell, how many times have we seen him on live TV just, freeze? 3-4 times.
No, he's had some definite
he got
problems.
he's the Turtle King,
Yeah.
And they call him Glitch McConnell because he glitches out. Dude, the guy's having, mini strokes and everything. Get him out of there for his health. I don't care what he believes. I'm concerned for his health.
But here's the problem when you go down the next level, where there's senators or congressmen I'm not talking about state runners, but these are people coming from states, voted in their states, and sending them to Washington, D.C., which is senators and congressmen.
Yeah.
Then I believe the federal government has zero jurisdiction to decide what the states want to do. Each individual state would have to decide on that exact same thing as what we're talking about for the presidency.
Yeah.
But you can't dictate to the states that they have to do this. It would have to be state by state by state.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Moving on up, let's see here. Oh yeah, so I think the topic was when should we actually have the United States' birthday? Because we have all these history articles here about the Declaration of Independence.
Mm-hmm.
This was June 11th, posted here. We have 1776 Continental Congress created committees to draft a Declaration of Independence with Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Roger Sherman, and Robert R. Livingston as members. So, it wasn't. Okay. The whole thing wasn't in a 24-hour period.
Right.
Because
no.
what was it on the second? The final draft was agreed upon and all that stuff, and they started signing it, but they would wait another 2 days until the 4th before reading it and officially declaring independence and all that stuff. So, when is the actual birth of this country? When we declared independence? When the document that declared us independence was actually signed and ratified? When the idea started? Or when we actually won the war and became a country? When is it? Some different countries do different things in their own way, like this, involving births. We covered that article about South Korea. When you were born, you were already 1 year old. They used to mark it.
Yeah.
And then they switched it to when you're born, you're 0. But they're still, once again, when are you? When you're born, or when when you're conceived.
Yeah.
You know, like, because when you're born, you're already 9 months.
Right.
You know.
Right. You know, I've said that a long time. You know, if you're going to say it's murder,
well, I don't want to get into that.
No, you're right. Okay.
But what I'm talking about is like we celebrate July 4th as the birth of the United States.
Yeah, that's
but
when
is
everything's
it?
fine. Well, here's another one I'll put in
You
there.
know.
How about, would it be the actual date of this country actually becoming a country?
On paper, officially signed and done.
Signed and done, fine. But
And that
it wasn't factual until all slaves were freed. So do we really become a country even though we weren't fulfilling what all these people had signed?
You know, it's very interesting that you bring that up because I have a thing here. 1852, this is going to be later on today in the history show. I'm going to read this. Fugitive slave Frederick Douglass delivered his what to the slave is the 4th of July speech. Mm-hmm. Like, so what is the 4th of July to a slave?
Yeah.
You know, what you just said. Until, you know, like, then, like, so by that meaning, like, we cannot officially call ourselves a country until we back up what we say that we are as a union.
We didn't fulfill what the Constitution had declared. All people created
all men
equal.
are created equal.
Yeah.
Yes, and men. You know, we're not talking about man versus woman. No,
of course
no. The vernacular has changed over the years. Like we use, like, you know, male, female, man, woman.
Yeah.
No, man is the name of the species. We changed it to human, but man is still in there. Man now is human. But you know the whole saying, blah blah blah, for all of mankind. Mm-hmm. We're not talking about only mankind. Mm-hmm. You know, screw the women. No, we're not saying that. Mankind.
Yeah.
You know, man is the name of our species.
Yeah.
You know, we are man. You know, not like
human.
Yeah, human. You know, so,
Right.
so that's what it means. Like, you know, on the Declaration of Independence, all men are created equal.
Yeah.
You know, self-evident, all that stuff, yada yada. So, but as words change and interpretations alter, you know, we've had amendments and everything, and I brought up, you know, this before in a couple of times. I know recently during one of the history shows where now we have all these amendments. It's like, you know, you know, now the blacks get all this, now the gays get all that, now the women, you know, get the right to vote, all this stuff, you know, and everything.
Yeah.
Well, with all these branches out specifying different individualities of mankind rather than it all in one thing, then now we're using technicalities to maybe oppress certain things that we're not mentioning specifically anymore. You know, it can be used that way.
Yeah.
And I see that happening. You know.
Yeah. But you're right. If you're talking slavery, how about women weren't allowed to vote? You know,
Yeah,
they
until
didn't have
1920.
This, yeah,
1921.
So I guess my answer to that is, as much as I feel that slaves just weren't a part of this at all, obviously, or weren't, you know, I think they may have been fighting or discussing it. Who knows? But having said that,
I think there was a couple black people involved in the background. You know,
one would hope so.
I seem to remember something.
It's so established, 1776, and nobody has memory of slaves whatsoever.
Oh, everybody had
or
slaves.
women. Yeah, but we don't. No one alive today has any memory of there being slaves, or they know that their father was a slave, and I remember that.
As awful as it is to say what I'm about to say, I think that back then they did not view black people as humans. So
well,
that's
they even
probably
tried
why.
to come up with the 2/3, whatever it was.
3/5 compromise.
Yeah,
That was
so there you
farther
go.
on.
No, it was, but what you're saying, I'm just backing up. A lot of people thought that. Yeah, they aren't really humans. Well,
That's
oh my
awful.
God.
Yeah.
That's worse. You know, that's worse than being against slavery. Screw it. I own them. Doesn't matter what they are, or it doesn't matter. Of course they're humans, but I own them. No.
Yikes.
Still bad.
Yeah.
But if you say, I own them because they're not even human, holy cow.
Well, that's just how people thought. I mean, like, you know, it's very easy for us
they didn't look
to...
at it as humanity. They looked at it as property.
Hindsight is 20/20. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's easy for us today to look back at how things were and judge. But if you really want to understand, you have to put yourself in the shoes and the mentality and see things for how the people in that time saw things. And that means sometimes you have to go down really dark roads and mentalities to really, truly, fully understand. You know? Like,
now, let me say one other thing about the Declaration of Independence and then what came after it all.
the Bill of Rights and the Constitution.
The beauty of it It's a living, breathing thing, which means
Yes.
you're allowed to fix things.
Yes.
When they're wrong, you're allowed to fix things. That is the beauty of this whole thing. That's why I will always celebrate it.
Yes.
Because it was fun. You talk especially slavery, not even close to right. But it was, with everything put in place, it was fixable. It was allowed to be fixable.
Nothing
Wasn't
is
the
perfect.
king sitting there saying tough shit. You know,
Nothing
this
is
the way
perfect. It wasn't perfection, but the point of it is that it was such a brand new, radical
completely.
thing.
This is an
Like,
experiment. This thing's still an experiment today.
Well, I mean, like, for a good long time, all of Europe collectively was was holding their breath and watching us from year to year to year, go through our hardships. They saw us go through the War of 1812, the Mexican-American War, the Spanish-American War, and then by World War One, we were pretty much proven, But for a good while, democracy was born a long time ago in ancient Greece.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been really put to the test, especially on such a big level. That's the idea of kings, queens, monarchy, all that stuff, peasants, serfs, that's been going on for thousands of years. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But how do you know if it's broke unless you figure out something better? Yeah. And that's what this was, a giant roll of the dice that we just so happened to get a crap on, if I'm using the terminology right, You want 7 in your initial roll, I think. I don't know. So,
yeah, always.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my take, because it was designed to be fixable.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, especially with giving the citizens a civic duty to overthrow the government if it should become tyrannical.
Yeah. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
It gives them the right. Hence the state. What do you call them? They're
militias.
Militias.
Yes.
That's why the states to this day are allowed to have militias.
Yeah, and they're trying to take them away though.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So. But anyway, speaking of the United States and all that stuff, now, we came up with this question, a couple weeks ago, this was on, 6/11. So, when it comes to the Civil War, we always call it the American Civil War, and that's because we always call this country America, even though America is 2 continents, North and South America, containing 35 countries, comprising most, if not all, of the landmass of the Western Hemisphere
And
of
Central
Earth.
America.
Yeah, Central America it's a made up region, but the 2 continents.
Yeah.
It's a region,
Yeah.
thing. It's not. But one of the countries is the United States of America, USA. And America is an accepted vernacular and all that stuff, even though it's wrong because you say America, most people think of the United States,
Yeah.
but I also, me being facetious, I'm like, oh, what do you mean Guatemalans, Puerto Ricans, Chileans, Canadians, Brazilians?
What are you talking about?
But no. So American Civil War or U.S., Now, American Civil War, there's been a lot of different Civil War. I know Mexico has had at least one, and they're in America, so that would be an American Civil War. I'm sure there's been a lot of stuff happening in South America. I don't know much of my history about that. But then, would it be better to call it the United States Civil War? Because we can't even call it the North American Civil War because Mexico's up there.
Yeah. Well, you make a good point. When Mexico and the United States did fight, it was a American Civil War.
No. That's the Mexican-American War. That's something else. No, Mexico's had their own Civil War before.
Yes.
As we have.
But I'm just saying, what we're talking about on the topic.
Well, I guess that could be considered an American Civil War, but then again, many wars would then be considered a European Civil War,
Yeah, it's misleading.
With that mentality, you can call the Napoleonic era a Civil War.
Now, here's something different, but still on the same topic. All my life, the border around Mexico and the United States, Texas, and on around, it's always been the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, yes.
Now, it's well established that's the name. Now, I happen to agree with our president on facts, not him.
Yeah.
It should be the Gulf of America.
Yes.
Because It is the
What's-
Gulf of America, not. Shouldn't be the Gulf of the United States.
What drives me up a wall about this subject is there's so many people that are so stupid. They're like, oh, Trump just did that because he wants to be America number one. He has a big ego. No, dude, he did it because the continent is fucking called America, you idiot.
Yeah.
You know? Like, the continent wasn't called Mexico. The United States of America is not called America of America. The continent, named after Amerigo Vespucci, is called America. And it touches multiple countries, like United States, Mexico, and does it touch any of the Caribbean islands? Does it touch Cuba?
No, I think
all?
they're out of it.
Oh.
They're farther out.
Is there any other country?
You
Or
may
is it
get up
just-
in Mexico, and I don't know all the countries.
Honduras
but like,
or something?
like Belize and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's right up at the top there. I don't know if they're considered in the Gulf or not.
Yeah, but it's the North American Gulf. It's the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
You know.
But I certainly don't think of that as, maybe I'm naive, but I think of America as being the United States. I do. But when you name it the Gulf of America, I don't consider we're trying to claim that. I just
Yeah.
think it's defining it's a Gulf of the Americas. And maybe it should be Gulf of Americas.
Well,
But how can you, it's one continent, so you can't make a plural.
Gulf of America is fine. You know.
But I've never felt that, changing that, yeah, it kind of makes it ours.
Well, like when I first
No,
heard it,
no.
I was just like, finally something Trump and I agree on.
Yeah.
It makes sense, So, anyway, now let's get to our last topic here for today: reverse mortgages, good or bad for seniors. Now, I don't know much about reverse mortgages, and this is your entry.
Well-
so you take the floor.
Yeah, and then you can play off of whatever I have to say, and I'm not going to give you a whole lot to play off of.
Yeah.
There's no bad answer. You can go either way, depending on your situation.
Well, first
What
off,
you have
what's
to-
a reverse mortgage?
a reverse mortgage is you have debt on your home. You owe some money on your home still.
Okay.
You're retired. You're on a fixed income. Whatever your situation is,
So you haven't paid off your home fully.
you
is
haven't
what you're
paid off
saying.
your phone, and you're a senior citizen.
Yeah.
You can go to these different mortgage companies and get a reverse mortgage, which is they pay off your current debt. You'll no longer have payments.
Okay.
So you still have the debt, but all the interest that you don't pay goes on to
Sorry. All the interest that you don't pay goes on to.
your debt. So your debt will get bigger, and as long as you have enough equity in your property, you're fine.
Okay.
But then so you are creating debt, which is to me always a bad thing.
Yeah.
But
It's essentially, it's it's a safety net with what's the word? Why
Well,
can't I think?
okay.
No, hold on. It's a safety net with conditions for old people to secure the rest of their life, and then after they die, they don't need to worry about it anymore. Maybe the next of kin or whoever, somebody inherits it or picks it up, or it just gets.
They're going to get less of an inheritance.
Yeah.
Is what they're going to get.
Yeah.
And here's the answer for this. When I say there's no good or answer, I am against, especially for a senior, to creating debt. Now, I'm not against reverse mortgages in the right circumstances. If people, this is the home all their children grew up in, the house means everything to them, and they no longer can afford it. Okay, then the reverse mortgage is going to be perfect for them. And they can take out even more money to make sure they can cover their taxes over the years, things like that. Because your taxes, you can have your house paid for, and not in California, but in other states, your taxes are going to go up every year. And all of a sudden, you can't afford your taxes.
Yeah.
So there's also that. But if you want to stay in your house, or maybe it's just too difficult to move physically for you, mentally for you, because you're 90, okay, you can stay there till you die. Then it's good. But you really have to want to be in that house for whatever reason. And other than that, no. Sell the house, buy down with the cash, whatever you can do. And if there's not enough money in it, well then you're not going to have a reverse mortgage for long, because you have to have equity. That's the whole key. You have to have a lot of equity in the home.
Well, I can't really answer the question: is it good or bad for seniors? That's purely situational.
Absolutely right. It is absolutely.
Like-
It is. Some people, it's a lifesaver. Thank God it's there.
Yeah.
But don't rush into it just because cool. I don't have monthly payments anymore.
Yeah, don't fall into a trap like people
Yeah.
did for the credit card.
Yeah.
This isn't free money. It's just differently placed money.
Yeah.
There's going to be a caveat.
You always have to look at it on a reverse mortgage. You are at your age accumulating debt. Is that okay? And a lot of the answers are absolutely yes, it's okay. If it's not okay to you, don't do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are on our half hour right now.
Yeah.
I think it's a good time to wrap up. What say you?
I say I'm okay.
I'm okay.
Okay.
And you're okay.
Yeah, here, do it together.
I'm okay. You're okay.
okay.
We gotta start doing it that way.
Yeah,
That's a better thing.
Yeah, that's a way better thing.
Yeah. Anyway, for all of you and all of us,
The senior golden loon.
and the junior A.O. Xander, and you viewer, thank you so much for coming in. And we have a history show in an hour and a half coming up. And until you catch us next time, as we said at the top of the show, we do this the first Sunday of every month.
Yes, first Sunday of every month.
Sometimes we miss it, but then we do the next one whenever.
Yeah.
The next,
If
there's been some extenuating
If
circumstances.
it's a schedule conflict, then we delay it a week.
We figure it out. So, but yeah. Anyway, the code word okay. Put okay. In the comment
There you
section.
go.
Let us know you're
Perfect.
still watching. Yeah.
That's our first code word.
Yeah, for the IOYO. Yeah, we wanted.
Okay, perfect.
We started doing that recently, though.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, just this show.
Yeah, and until you catch us next time, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs and subscribe. Toodles.